Yo, what's up everyone, and welcome to the 14th episode of the Naus cEDH podcast, Planar Chaos. I'm your host, Kian, otherwise known as Varlas, and joining me as always is my co-host, Adam, better known as Poppyphobia.
What's up, everybody?
Today we are joined by some very special guests, Ka0s and F0s, the TOs of Ka0s Tournaments. For those of you that are unaware, Naus is sponsoring Ka0s 4, an entirely free and proxy-friendly cEDH webcam tournament with an actual prize support. Ka0s and F0s are here today to talk all about it. But before we get into that, Adam, I think we have a few triggers to resolve in our upkeep.
Yeah, thanks, Kian. So, to start with, we're going to shout out all of our high-tier patrons. Thank you to Usable Object, Senator Tom, Cold Ramen, and Geo Justin. The support from everybody has been absolutely amazing, and it helps us to continue to keep making these amazing episodes. For the next trigger on our upkeep, though, I'm going to hand it to our guests to talk about what they're here to talk about.
So F0s and I are here to talk about the Ka0s 4 tournament, which is sponsored by Naus, thus why we're here. But it's a super sweet, free to enter cEDH tournament, proxy friendly. So you can print out all your cards. And there's going to be a ton of prizes. I think we added up like over $1,000 worth of prizes, which is crazy for one, a free tournament, and two, an online tournament.
Yeah, so if you guys want to enter into Ka0s 4, we're going to put the website to Ka0s Tournaments in the description below, so you can check it out and sign up. I believe the tournament is going to take place September 10th, and you just have to sign up before the tournament starts, basically, in order to be entered.
As long as you're there before 10 a.m., was it September 10th, 10 a.m., as long as you show up, you'll be good.
Awesome. And then finally, don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and for those of you listening on any podcast platform like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please make sure you leave us a review and a rating, as it helps us to reach new audiences. Now to move on to our main phase. So for today's topic, we are going to discuss all things regarding Ka0s tournaments. And who better to discuss that than the TOs themselves, Ka0s and F0s. So we hope to explain to new players into the cEDH community what Ka0s is, how these tournaments help grow the community, and the problems that arise with webcam tournaments, and plenty more. And lucky for you guys, Kian and I are top-tier interviewers, so this should be a good time. So let's get into it. Kian, do you want to ask the first question?
Yeah, sure. So starting off, many of our audience or people in general don't know who you guys are. So starting off, why don't you guys introduce yourselves and how you're involved with like the cEDH community or just the Magic community in general?
Hey, I'm F0s. I've been playing Magic for a very long time. Recently, me and Ka0s started this tournament to get players more active in the community, and we really enjoy it so far, to be honest with you.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think I've been playing about as long as F0s, give or take. We're both old men. But yeah, most of this just started as trying to, get the community together and get more people just playing the format in general. And then it kind of just turned into, hey, let's try a tournament. Let's do another tournament, and it kind of snowballed from there. Yeah, it's really cool.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, like tournament play is something that I think that me and Kian are really interested in. We play a lot like locally, but I think local tournaments are a lot different than
webcam tournaments.
Not even webcam tournaments, just tournaments like large scale tournaments in general. You're kind of in a very inbred meta when it comes to like playing at your LGS and shit like that. You don't get a lot of experience, especially not real like comp REL experience. So it's really cool to see like you guys kind of cultivating that in an online space in particular. Mm-hmm. Speaking of an online space, do you guys want to explain like what Ka0s Tournaments actually is for people that may not know?
Basically, at least for the time being, we do probably a tournament every like 6 weeks, give or take. cEDH, 100% proxy friendly, so you can have your whole deck as proxy. So that's another really good like entry point for people, is as long as you can get to a printer, whether it be your own or library or a friend or work or whatever, that's literally all you need to play is a printer and I guess a pair of scissors. But outside of that, that's it. And there's like all these crazy prizes. giveaways, and there's a stream for people to watch, and it's really just getting people more involved in the cEDH community, because it's maybe not, I don't want to say it's not as big as people that play Modern or something like that, but it's a little less well known, I guess you would say. Like, everyone knows about Modern, everyone knows about Standard, but cEDH is this kind of niche community that basically we're just trying to spread to the world happiness.
So what,
yeah, exactly.
What sets you guys apart from if I wanted to start my own webcam tournament? What makes me want to join a Ka0s tournament instead of trying to start my own?
Oh, do you see these faces? I mean, come on. No, honestly, most of it is we have a really good support base. And what I mean by that is we have a lot of people who donate cards, donate time, whether that be judges, streamers, stuff like that. Sealed product, you guys, as a prime example. Yep. And stuff like that. We have a really good support base, and with that kind of support base, we're able to do free entry, which is, again,
huge.
Proxies plus free entry is, there's not a lot of people that, it's kind of unheard of. Yeah, there's not a lot of people that can offer both of those generally, and with the ease of you can play at your house. You don't have to leave your house.
You don't have to drive 8 hours to go play somewhere.
Exactly.
With a bunch of sweaty nerds.
FNM is great and all, but they generally don't have, cEDH. It's almost always you have to pay to play. You have to smell the smelly nerds, and all that. And you get to avoid all of that this way. It's great.
You get the best. You get the best of, not the worst of, when it comes to
exactly.
So when it comes to webcam tournaments, I think that a lot of people can get not kind of thrown off by it, right? Because I think you see a lot of discourse where people are surprised to hear that anybody's actually hosting a webcam tournament, specifically a webcam tournament that has prize support with no entry. So some questions that I think that a lot of people ask is, what are the actual rules and restrictions of a tournament like this? I think specifically, not just obviously we know what the rules are, right? Because Magic, the rules are pretty synonymous throughout the game. But when it comes to webcam play, what rules set webcam tournaments like Ka0s aside from a regular Comp REL tournament?
So the biggest thing about webcam tournament is it's hard to regulate the rules and restrictions just because we're not present at the table. So we can't always tell if your actual hand, or you got something off to the side, for example. So we're very strict about keeping the cards on the table, because it is, again, a free-to-play format that there are prizes at stake.
Yeah, there's actual money.
And it's still very difficult to organize so many people on Discord as well. It takes a lot of effort of everyone involved. And our judges are amazing, and same as our moderators on the Discord.
It's taken a lot of time and people and effort to find a good system, to get all the players in one spot, get them all into pods, have enough judges, have a system to get the judges to the players, and and all that. Luckily, only the two of us have to worry about that, not everybody else.
That's good, at least. I'll add a caveat to this question, Ashley. Is there a place that people new to this tournament, new to Ka0s, can view the guidelines? Do you guys have that posted in a document somewhere, or easy to find place that someone could find?
That's actually a good question. Great question. Our website, which will be in the description, if you go there, there'll be a bunch of links on the homepage, but outside of that, the navigation at the top, you can go to see all the information for the tournaments, to sign up, and then within the tournament document, there'll be, the rules set, the Monarch IPG, which is extra rules for multiplayer, and basically everything involving the rules of the tournament. The biggest thing, since this is not in person and it's on camera, the biggest thing is keeping all of your cards, your hand, your library, your graveyard, everything on the battlefield, everything on the camera at all times. Because without doing that, people can move stuff, and it gets kind of crazy. So while it is competitive REL, and there's game rule violations and all that stuff that normally comes with competitive REL, the biggest thing is keeping all your stuff on the camera, because once that goes out the window, that's when the judges are like, all right, we got to give a game loss,
Sure.
that's the only way we can avoid all kinds of issues, is being super strict.
So
it's the only exactly.
Well, and that was probably like the hardest adjustment for me as a player, because I've played in multiple Ka0s tournaments like leading up to this, and like that's the biggest adjustment is like, oh shit, like how do I play and keep my fucking hand like visible while also not revealing information, because like you don't want to bleed. But once you get into it, it's really easy, and
it's really totally fun.
Yeah, and it's really easy to play like that. And then you start worrying about the people you're playing with, because then you're like, hey, make sure your hand is on the table, because I'm doing my part to prove to you that I'm not doing any funny business.
You better be doing your part.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really the only thing that we're like really. I mean, we have no choice. We have no choice. We have to be very strict on that rule, because otherwise, there could be. I'm not going to go through all of the scenarios, but there could be so many different issues. Yeah. But outside of that, you get. Mess around with your camera, get the right angle on spell table, you're good to go, and then you don't really have to worry about it anymore.
For sure. So, like, how many actual players do you have in this event? Like, from comparing, like, from your first one up to your more recent one, and like your hope, like your projection for future ones. Like, what's the spectrum of players?
I think for the first tournament we had. 97. I believe it was 92. The first one I think was 92. Second event, we had 98. We were too short of 100, which sucked.
So close.
And then the third one bumped up a lot. I think we were at 112 for the third one.
Yep.
So obviously, we're trying to reach out more, to more communities and people we know, and Reddit and hanging out with you guys and stuff like that. But I'm really I don't want to say hoping, because I can almost guarantee we're going to get more players in the last event.
You're confident.
But ideally, I'm pretty confident we're going to get more. It's just how many more?
Mm-hmm. How many more? Yeah.
Our projection is we hit 200, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think would be like the biggest cEDH event, like even paper or webcam, I think, for specifically cEDH. But that's the ideal. That's like the projection, I guess you'd say.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that
keep.
Ahead, I think that we all are like in agreement that it'd be really cool to like hit that milestone, because I think like even like people are talking right now about like the new tournament that's going on in paper in LA, and like they're capping it at 200 players, but it's like no tournament's ever hit 200 before. So to get there would be really cool, specifically in a webcam tournament, and especially like a webcam tournament with like a decent prize support, because like there's
and free.
Yeah, and free, exactly. There's no entry. It costs you nothing.
A big point.
Let's just get 200 people.
You just have to show up.
Yeah. So I think that'd be like a really good time. And I think that there's like no better place to do it than with Ka0s, because you guys were kind of alluding to it earlier, but the way that you have your tournament structure set up, it's pretty like top notch for what it is. You guys have like the tournament room, right? Where like everybody comes in, everybody's only listening, and you guys are talking and explaining the rules, explaining how the day's going to go, explaining how rounds are going to work between every round. You guys are having conversations with all the players involved, saying like, hey, these are how points work. This is where your standings are. This is how it's going to go. And it's like very well organized for something that the majority of people might interpret as hectic. Because it's really not that hard when people are playing for money to rail in 100 sheep, you know what I mean, and like guide them to the grass. Like, so it's I think you guys do a really good job of organizing a tournament when it comes to like webcam specifically. Yeah,
we try to keep it like I've played, competitive REL, the old Star City events, GPs. I did all that for so long that, going into this, I was just trying to make it as close to that as possible. You get everybody together in one room, you have a nice little player meeting, Luckily we have Discord, so we can make everyone not talk instead of yelling at a big room of people.
Helps.
Hey, please stop talking. Yeah. So, so that, you know, we're trying to keep it more like I don't want to say a real event, because obviously it is a real event, but like an in-person GP or something like that.
Yeah. And I think,
but you know, try to be more inviting. And the other thing too that we can do with Discord that they can't do is they have like the little hand raised button to like ask a question, so you can actually have players asking questions in the player meeting, which isn't really a thing in person. Yeah.
And I think you guys are more, like, to Adam's point, you guys are like concise, right? You guys have everything done already. So like when I want to know my tournament standings, all I got to do is go to a place to look. I don't have to go around and ask, you know, because like some like IRL tournaments, you go, you're like, all right, where am I? It's not on the board. The judges don't know what the fuck's going on here. Okay, everybody's idiots here. Okay, I'm in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, 8 hours away from my house. I don't know what's going on.
And then they'll post it on like 6 different sheets around the whole room.
Yeah.
So like, oh, well, the letters ended here, so I'm on the next one, but where's the next one? No,
and then they don't put like the
nice
name brackets. It's like A through D, and then they don't put the other stuff. So you're like, what's going on here, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we try to make it nice and easy, you know, like, here's the standings channel, here's the pairings channel, here's where you ask the judges a question. Like, it's very streamlined, very easy.
Yeah, and I feel like Discord helps with that a lot, because like
it does.
The Discord has like the specific channels, like you go and hurts too. Like you go to the channel, you're like, all right, this channel is only for this, and I think that's like a tool starting to get utilized more, especially in like tournament organizing and tournament play, because you go there to this certain Discord for the tournament, and you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing now, and this is where I get to find it. So I like it.
Even in-person tournaments now use Discord as a way to communicate, because it's just so simplistic and easy. But something that you mentioned that I really want to touch on is how you guys utilize judges in your tournament, because I think that everyone is so surprised when they see how judges are utilized in a webcam tournament. I remember I was showing some of my friends, like, hey, because like we've been promoting the tournament like IRL at our LGS and stuff, like, hey, if you got a webcam, like, you got to check out this spell table tournament because it's going to be crazy. And they're like, how do you ask a judge like when you need a judge call? And I'm like, it's actually surprisingly easy, because you guys have that judge chat, and all you do is ping the judge with the pod number that you're in, and the judge just pops into your pod. And like just
super
like a regular,
easy.
Just like a regular tournament, it's like you raised your hand and yelled judge, and the judge asks the person who raised their hand, okay, explain to me what the situation is. It's like,
and again, a lot of that was that philosophy of, let's try to keep this like a real event, that, you know, obviously not everyone that comes in and plays you know, has played in a large scale event, but on the flip side, a fair amount of people have. So it's very easy to just be like, all right, well, instead of raising your hand and yelling judge, there's literally just a chat that says judge call, and you say, you know, at judge pod 5, and they just come right in and, all right, what do you need?
Yeah, and just
nice
like
and
a
simple.
and just like a regular in-person event, the judges are, you know, actual judges, so they're prepared to answer and help you with anything that you have. And these judges specifically are experienced with webcam play, which is like super beneficial, because like they can answer any question you have about shit like, how do I resolve a Praetor's Grasp, or how do I go through an opposition agent? And it's like, okay, well, bear with me, but I'll explain to you how we do this, right? And it's like, it really helps, because I think for players that aren't used to webcam play or don't play over webcam a lot, it allows them to, it puts them at ease a little bit, right? Because like some of that stuff can be really intimidating, right? Like going through something like, hey, I want to search my opponent's library. How the hell do I do that without revealing that information to other players? It's like, well, it's really hard, and the best way to do it is just like this. And like, you know, explaining that and saying like, I get that this might not be what you wanted to hear, but it's how it has to go, and stuff like that. And also just being judges in general, right? Like just being kind and courteous, and like there to help you. They're not there to call you on a GRV.
Yeah, exactly. Like the judges that we have like,
they're awesome.
An awesome group. They do IRL events as well as webcam events, so they're super experienced in both. They're like some of the nicest people legitimately that like you'd ever meet. Like they're all of them just do this just out of the kindness of their hearts. Like I mean, we still do compensate them because like we want to, but the first couple events, and they've even said afterwards, like, you don't have to give us anything. Like, we're here just as a community member, just for the same reasons that people are playing. They're doing the same thing, just reverse. And a lot of it is I can't stress enough, like in these kind of events and even IRL events, any event, all the judges are there for is to help you, like with any kind of issue or question or whatever. So there's like you should have no hesitation to just call a judge for I don't want to say for anything, but pretty much anything. Like they're there as a resource. Like, you know, they're there like you have a bottle of water that you need to stay hydrated. They're, you know, they're there for a similar reason to, you know, they have to help you live in this tournament, you know? Questions, concerns, like anything. Like they are way more than happy to like come help you.
Yeah, it definitely minimizes walking time, but maximizes argument time.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, like,
that's true.
A fun thing that I always try to remember is like a judge is not there to help you lose the game. They're there to help you to survive another turn. So like always call a judge and ask when you're unsure, and they're not there to give you a GRV. They're there to help you to resolve an issue. So and I think it's really cool that the judges that you guys have are volunteers. They all want to be there and want to be judging because they want to be a part of this experience, right? Webcam tournaments is something new, and like if you want to get all weird with it, this is the future. So like, you know, there's probably going to be there's going to be more of this kind of stuff coming up. So like to be the pioneers of it, like Ka0s is, people want to be there and want to be a part of it. And I think most of your staff is volunteers for the most part. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, pretty much. And another thing that you mentioned, like this is the future or whatever. Wizards bought Spell Table, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Like they own Spell Table now. I don't think they're buying that to like bury it under the ground. So
yeah. I think for the next question that we have too is like we were bragging earlier about all this money that's being thrown into the prize support for this tournament. Do you guys want to kind of talk about like what we've got prepared for prize support for Ka0s 4?
Well, I can make this super easy. Do you want to hold up some cool cards?
Oh, I got some cool cards here. I was debating if I have to turn on my light or not. But I think this is what we got for. Oh man, the glare is bad.
It's a nice glare.
There you go.
There you go. Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, this is what we got for first place. Yeah, so that's
it's a hell of a prize. It's a hell of a for a free entry. Like that's a sweet prize if I paid $20 to play. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like let alone just showing up.
We played a tournament in our local area where it was $50 and first place was a Wheel of Fortune.
So there you go.
Right. And I bet they didn't have giveaways and pay out the top 8 either.
No. And you had to go somewhere besides your house, so you know. Yeah.
These are two other cards that we got for this tournament. So we got a Nullrod and a Humility. And then some other cool stuff is, oh shit, I got this briefcase locked up.
Oh no, you're gonna break it open.
No, we got some like sealed secret layers. This one is the Walking Dead secret layer.
Oh, that one's sweet.
And this is just for top 4. So I know that like, oh, I just hit my mic. I know that we're prepared to do like payouts for top 8, even top 16, and then like also a bunch of cards for giveaways. I mean, I got a whole freaking stack of cards right now, like just like of all different types of.
Yeah, we got a stack.
That's a cool card.
Show them that Teferi.
This one that's upside down right now.
Yeah, show them the upside down one.
The stained glass.
Oh man, that thing is so cool.
Yo, Scorish is probably gonna win that, deadass.
So we gotta tell you guys, we got a guy in our Discord. His name is Scorish. He's awesome. He's been like a patron since day one. Dylan is amazing. But we do a ton of giveaways on our channel. We do like flavor text giveaways. Yep. We do like subscriber goal giveaways and Discord member giveaways and stuff like that. And Scorish for like the longest time Dylan was the only one winning the giveaways, like winning every single giveaway. And then we recently did one where when we hit 150 subscribers, we did a big giveaway, and we gave away a collector booster of Double Masters. And of course, out of like 50 people, Scorish wins the collector booster.
That's amazing. So, it's almost like our head judge, her name is Looter Scooter. We allow our judges to enter the giveaways too, because, I mean, why not?
They're there.
And yeah, it's just like the same thing. She wins like 2 things every tournament, every single one.
I was super happy the first Ka0s tournament that I played because like I got bounced in the first round. I think I took 18th place, so I missed cut to top 16 by 2 people. But I didn't win a single game. I had 1 loss and 3 draws.
Yeah.
And I was like,
oh wow.
But that was just because like of the way that the tournament was structured, like the people that were winning kept winning. And so like draws were enough points where like it got you close enough, and but I still won a giveaway, and I was like, this is awesome. Like I entered this tournament for free. I dedicated.
I didn't win a game. I still got a prize.
I still walked away with $25. I was like, this is awesome. Okay, now
Sick.
I get it. I get why people like this. Yeah, and that's something too that I don't think people know is like you don't have to just win your games to win prizes. If you just show up, like you can win stuff, and that's awesome.
Yeah, we have giveaways on the stream and on the Discord after every single round. So there's like we probably I don't know what 15, 20 maybe
15,
like different
20
things,
there, yep.
different giveaways, different things to choose from. Like just for
They're not nothing.
either hanging out on the stream or hanging out in the Discord. Like there's I forgot where I put them, but I have like a foil Draneth and like stuff like that, like just for watching the Twitch stream. Like, and that's a sweet card.
Yeah.
For a foil and a foil one too.
Yeah, that shit is sweet. And like,
Yeah.
I think for us specifically, since we're the ones providing the prize support for this tournament, we really wanted to like make it something special. So I know that like we have not only do we have like cards because like what you guys are known for is this singles, right? Like you come play the Ka0s tournament, you got a chance to win some sweet singles, but we're also giving away like fun stuff that you may not normally see at a regular tournament. So like for us, we're giving away 2 of our playmats. We're giving away a bunch of sealed double masters packs. We're giving away some custom proxies that are being made like custom for this tournament, which is sick because like not a lot of people do that, and it's not like the typical like we're gonna give away like
a Black Lotus.
Not even that, but like
stuff.
like some people have like a bunch of like regular tokens, right? So you get like treasure tokens and things that are like
these here.
Yeah, which you guys have some signature tokens. Yeah. But we're giving this time around. We're going to give away actual proxies of playable cards. So like reserve list proxies that like are cool and custom art that you're only going to get if you are a part of this tournament, because we're not going to produce these for anything else. Like it's just like between Ka0s and Sadnos, which is really cool. And then so I think like we said, we totaled it up. It's like over $1,000 in prize support. We got 2 secret layers, precons, play mats, cards, like singles. It's a ton of shit. So
and the prize support's not going to go down. The only way it can go is up. Like I think once we're almost certainly going to hit the 100. So we agreed at 100 we'll pay out the top 8. If we hit 200 players, we'll pay out the top 16. So this is only what we have right now. If we hit that milestone of 200. We're going to add even more stuff. And knowing us, if we get 200 players, we're going to throw in more giveaways and all kinds of more stuff. 100%. Easily.
Because the lights are off in my room, but I got a whole stack of cards over there that I'm just not playing in decks anymore that can go into giveaways. And like, So
I
think I got a box of stuff too.
Same.
And I think it's really exciting.
Yeah, so speaking of the players, how has the community as a whole, not just players, I guess I shouldn't have said that. How has the community responded to Ka0s tournaments, and how has that made a positive impact or negative impact on the events you guys host?
I think it's had a really good impact on us. After the first tournament, it was amazing afterwards. We had so many people thanking us for the tournament, everything that happened. People were happy to see the prize show up. People posted what they were getting from the prizes and everything when they got them, all that stuff.
They were doing like unboxing, maybe not videos, but they were doing like unboxing, pictures and posting like, "Hey, we got this in the mail. We got our prize. We got their tokens."
Just makes us
was
feel
pretty neat.
super, super good, honestly.
Yeah.
Love doing
And
it.
again, a lot of this, the reason why we started it is to just get people more involved and playing more, cEDH in general, but also playing online more.
Mm-hmm.
A random plug, but we usually play on the cEDH Nexus, and that was most of the reason why we started all this, is because the the amount of players that were playing was pretty low. And man, I'll tell you, we did the first tournament and there were pods firing like crazy on there. Like you'd get on there like after work and there'd be like 3, 4, sometimes 5 pods playing at the same time, and that was crazy. And that was the whole thing, was just, you know, getting people more involved in the community and, you know, playing.
I think it's worked too.
Yeah, I was gonna say on that note specifically, I think something that like happens a lot in the Discord community is Discords tend to die out after a while, and like that's it's a really hard thing to combat, especially as like a Discord owner. Like the last thing you want is your Discord to start to go and die. So it's really cool to see something like Ka0s exist, where every month or every other month you guys have this date set aside. And it's like, hey, we are competing at the highest level for some prizes, and like come and play, and let's get as many people together as we can, because it's one of the few times you can actually go somewhere that isn't like the r/cEDH Discord, now known as the cEDH Discord, where you're going to be able to fire pods for 5 or 6 hours at a time. And something that I think is really cool, like what people really like about LGS is when you go play Commander, is that you're paying your LGS to go find pods for you, because it's hard to meet people and play. Well, with Ka0s,
essentially,
it's free, and you guys are providing a space to play competitive Commander, and doesn't cost anybody anything, and it's a great resource to just jam games with your favorite deck.
And an interesting concept too is, obviously, you know, people are competing at the highest level, cEDH, you know, they're trying to win for these prizes and all that. There's also absolutely no downside to bringing like your bug tribal deck, you know, just trying to play like insects and stuff, because it's free. I mean, if you wanted to, if that's what you have built and you just want to mess around, like it's totally an option. It's free. There's literally no downside. You can bring whatever the hell you want.
You say
like,
this
it doesn't
now,
matter.
now everybody will be bringing like Grist tribal or some shit. I don't know.
No.
Like, you could literally just go to your LGS and buy a Commander precon and just show up and play.
They don't
like,
play around.
You could legitimately.
The cEDH decks lose to precons.
Seriously.
They do.
Yeah, it can happen.
I just see Foss like cringing in the corner. And it's just like, I know that people can do this, but please.
But should they?
I play Winota, and she just dies to anything that's not cEDH. Just straight up dies to everything.
That's the downside.
It's horrible.
Like, you have 4/4s in your deck? What do I do?
Not even that. They just hit you with the most obscure removal, and you're like,
Yep,
why
and
do you
4
run
waves
that?
at the wazoo is horrible.
I mean, like, even though we're joking about it, like, if that's what you have, you know, if you don't have access to a printer, or you just want to show up and fuck around, I mean, no one's going to stop you. It's free.
Right.
Like, there's no downside, you know, besides your time. I mean, that's it.
The one thing that I will always advocate for is, if you want to come and play, come and play. Just be aware of what everybody else is playing, right? So even though you say, like, hey, bring your precon, by all means do that. Just remember that it is competitive Magic. So there are games where you're going to lose on turn 2, and you just have to understand that going in, right?
Yeah, and for the people who go to FNM and stuff like that, it's the same thing. They have standard precons, and you can win games with it. You're not going to win as many games with it as the people who, you know, spend a lot more money or whatever. But
owns a printer.
You can still show up and play. That's the other thing is, again,
Has a
you just
FedEx.
need a printer, basically. Yeah.
That
or
is
you can order them, or find a friend with a printer. Library, like, there's so many options.
That's something to like. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, to elaborate on, though. Is like, you don't need to just bring a precon. Like, you have the ability to print off any card in Magic's history and bring it to the tournament. So whatever your dream deck is that you wanted to play, you can play that at the Ka0s Tournament, and people are going to be excited to see it, right? If you've always wanted to play Blue Farm, but you don't have $16,000, well, guess what? $5 at your
Now
library.
you do.
Now you got Blue Farm.
Blue Farm.
So like that's like one of the best parts about the Ka0s Tournament, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, you go to the library, it's like $5. Same thing, you can go to like any UPS store, FedEx store, whatever. You give them the flash drive with all, you know, all the cards on it. Yeah, there's no way it costs more than $5. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then you get to beat guys like me that have $700 cards in their deck, and then I get to lose to paper, and it's like, that's a good feeling. That's a good feeling.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
It's a really cool way to grow the community, because a lot, like, a really big. It's like a paywall, basically.
paywall.
You know, for
It's super hard to
a
get
lot of this game. You know, playing Modern, playing Legacy, whatever.
Don't get us started. We have an
On
entire
gatekeeping.
episode about gatekeeping and how the price point of Magic is the biggest reason that the community.
Downside.
Oh,
ridiculous.
100%. And you can play any deck you want. The most it'll cost you is $5,
Yeah.
which is crazy considering you can go to your library, print out a deck for a couple dollars, and then come win a revised wheel. Like that's insane. That's insane, and not have to pay an entry fee either. Like it's crazy.
Free.
It's
Why
crazy.
wouldn't you
It's
join?
crazy that a $5 trip to the library can win you $300 at this tournament,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like one of the coolest. Like, it's like a cool concept. Like now that I'm reflecting on it, I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty fun. Like,
I know. I'm like excited about this, and not even as a TO, like as a player. Like that, the fact that I don't have to spend all this money. I can just go to a UPS store and come win a $300 card, no entry fee, no nothing. Is like,
Well,
where
that's
else are you gonna do that?
wild.
Like,
that's the
kinda ridiculous.
downside of in-person tournaments is like if you're not an enfranchised player, right? So like if you're not a player that already has an established collection and tons of money to buy the best cards, when you want to go play an in-person tournament that's not proxy friendly, you don't have an option to like win the dual lands, right? Like you can win, how many tournaments are around where you could win all 10 duels, right? Well, that's amazing, but you still need like the duels in your deck to even play in that tournament most of the time.
true.
So like what are you playing for? You're just doubling up? Like it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense, right? So like that's why I think tournaments like this are really fun, and it presents an opportunity for like people like me and Kian to say, hey, in the next tournament we are going to give out a dual land. And it's like because now you have the opportunity to play for the deck you've always wanted or the cards that go in that deck, and it allows you to
Yeah.
establish that collection in the future. And all you have to do is be a player with you have to be good at playing Magic. That's all you have to do. You don't even need money to play.
or really
Sometimes.
lucky, one or the other. I mean,
Yeah,
one or
sometimes
two,
luck
yeah.
is luck is probably the biggest. Yeah. Oh man. So, what do you guys say we play a little game? Kian, are you down for that?
All right, moving on to the best segment of the show, guys. All right, I don't know if you guys know, but this is called the flavor text of the week. For those of you just tuning in or don't know what the segment is, it's where I, Kian, try to stump the cast and the audience with a flavor text from Magic's history. So, for those of you listening to us, please have your answer ready and with the spoiler tag in our flavor text judge Discord channel. Anyways, on to the cast's flavor text. So I'm kind of in the minds of like the Sad Naus crew, you know. I know they'll get it in like a couple, like 5 tries, right? So I don't know you guys personally. So
I need about 10 times more than that.
this might be easy.
Maybe 50.
This might be hard. Okay. So you call it luck. I call it preparation.
You call it luck.
You call it luck. I call it preparation.
So you guys would think after doing 14 episodes of this show,
You'd be,
I would
be
start
actually
to
good at
research
this.
flavor text. But unfortunately,
I do actually have a guess.
Oh no.
Okay.
throw it out there.
Lindell's Vault.
Okay.
Nope.
I feel like that's a good guess.
It was a
good
good
guess.
guess.
So-
It was a good guess.
So this is like how we normally do this, right? Is like we got to think of the mind, like what could that flavor text mean, right? So like you call it luck, I call it preparation. So it's probably like a counter spell or something because it's like saying like, "Ha, gotcha!
yeah.
You thought I was lucky, but I wasn't," or something that's similar to that. So I for sure I think it's instant speed, whatever it is, because like you're prepared for something, right? So instant speed. But I don't know.
I actually feel like I might have heard this or read this off of a card before.
it is cEDH playable.
What
It's not.
So what?
cEDH
What
card.
lucky? Like what? Could
It's
make
not what
it-
I'm thinking, man.
You call it luck, I call it preparation. So, and he says the Sad Naus crew knows it. We play a lot of like inbred decks. Like we're big into Grixis Blue Farm, like turbo stuff. So I'm assuming it's in like that color. So I'm thinking blue or black, maybe.
And cEDH playable. Playable or like
Playable.
it's in
No,
it's
playable.
actually index.
It's index.
Is it opposition
Okay.
agent?
It is index.
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not opposition agent.
It's
Damn.
like, no.
I thought I don't know.
No,
I,
it's
thought
not
that'd be
out.
good.
I wouldn't choose that easy of a card. Come on.
I don't know. That seemed like a good one.
All right, wait, say it one more time.
You call it luck. I call it preparation.
Oh, now he's got a voice with it too.
Now
This guy's
it's
too
voice with
confident.
There you go.
Now all I can think of is like preparation H.
If
Hey,
you guys
we don't talk about after hours.
If you guys don't think you can get it, we can start playing the guessing game where we just start eliminating
no.
colors and things.
I'm gonna
like
make a
that.
guess. I think it might be Predator's Grasp.
Praetor's Grasp has Shieldred.
Yeah, it's a
right,
culture
right, that's
Shieldred,
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, dude,
Mm.
are we
told
gonna
you
get
I'm
a
bad.
Praetor's Grasp reprint in Dominaria United? That would be sick. Because Shieldred's coming back. Okay, am I correct in thinking it's a blue or black instant? Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So I think it's a counter spell still. So what would be a counter spell? You call it luck. I call it preparation.
Okay, if you guys want to take any other guesses, but I would like to know if we get like a hint. Would you say it's printed within the last 10 years or before that?
It's been printed within the last 10 years.
Within the last 10 years. Okay.
I have a good idea because me and Kian were talking about a card today, and if it's the card that we
Oh,
were talking
no.
about,
It's not. I almost chose that card, and then I was like, no, he's going to guess it right
So
away.
you almost chose
I
Mind
did.
Break Trap? And
Yeah, and then I was like,
okay.
no, Adam's going to get it.
Oh, man. Okay, so it's a blue or black instant. Is it a counter spell?
No.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Shit.
Narset's Reversal.
Good guess, but no.
Oh, that is a good guess. That's a really good guess.
It's not a counter
is
spell.
it deflecting
It's a
sword?
console.
Oh, no, that's not blue. or
That
black.
is
That's
not a
stupid.
blue or black instant.
Is it demonic consultation? No.
Nope.
No.
I'm really bad at this. Haven't noticed.
No,
I'm gonna
it's
have to
okay.
start
We're all
looking
bad
through
at this.
cards.
This is the fun of it. We're all bad at this because all the viewers get to laugh at us as we can't. Like we spent 4
Oh,
minutes
man.
already contemplating this one stupid.
By the
card.
time the first guess is out, they already typed it into Scryfall. I know what you guys are doing at home. Okay, I'm not dumb.
That's funny.
Or
so
Google.
man, I feel like luck is a part of it because it says you call it luck, I call it preparation.
What
And it's
what
blue-
deck
blue or
uses
black.
luck?
Oh, Karkashima. Oh, okay. What's
Is it just the man himself?
Double or nothing.
Oh no, it isn't. It is
No,
an
it's
instant.
a blue
Okay.
spell. So then it's a blue spell. So if
Blue.
it's a,
Okay.
what's a funny blue spell in Karkashima that's like a counter spell?
But not a
It's
counter
not a
spell?
counterspell.
Oh, it's not a counter spell.
I'll
call
give
it
you guys a hint.
Frantic Search? Is it Frantic Search?
No, I'll give you guys a hint. It's one of their main engines in drawing cards.
Okay, so it's not Get Probe, right? 'Cause
And it's
that's
an
not-
instant.
Oh, now we're getting into it. I don't do any of you guys play Karkashima.
It's not. Okay, I was gonna say Flusterstorm because they love that card, but it's not a counter
I
spell.
hate that card. That card. Don't play.
No, it's a draw engine. It's a draw engine. What are blue draw engines in Karkashima?
Draw engine as an instant.
The only one I can think of is Frantic Search because someone casted that on me the other day and
Yeah.
counted it 7 times.
Hmm.
About right.
What are blue draw spells? What the fuck? Why can't I think of this?
Is it brainstorm?
They don't play Dig
No
Through
way it's
Time, right?
brainstorm.
Ponder?
Nope.
Preordain.
Nope.
Just name all
What
of
the
them. You
fuck?
get it.
Yeah, Ponder, Preordain, Brainstorm. It's not Get Probe. Cause I know
Oh
Get
man,
Sleight
I
of
haven't
hand.
played this. I haven't played this deck enough.
You guys are too
I haven't either.
impulsive.
Impulse.
Too
or-
impulsive.
Impulse.
It's impulse. Is that what it is?
No. Yeah, it's finally.
It is impulse.
I don't even
Okay.
remember what impulse does, so now I need to look this up.
It's another
Oh
one
boy.
drop.
And no,
Oh,
it's,
really?
it's
No, it's
one
not
and a blue.
one. It's
Sorry, it's a
two.
2-drop cantrip.
It's an
guys.
instant, and it's an
It's-
instant.
It's the bad
Oh.
cantrip. Apologies.
Impulse is good though in Karkashima.
It's
The
a good
top
engine.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
All right.
I
So,
agree.
Okay, you win, Kian. Haha, very funny.
haha,
that
very
sucked.
funny. All right. Now,
funny.
for the audience's flavor text. Her eyes blaze with the strength of 20 shields. Every glance is a salvation. I'll say it again. Her eyes blaze with the strength of 20 shields. Every glance is a salvation. All right.
Now we're lucky because since they use Scryfall at home because they're a bunch of cheaters,
Yeah, I
they get
use
really
the
hard
hard
ones. But us, we get super easy ones that are still hard because we're dumb.
I literally
You get
picked
that
the most
right.
random card. I Googled Stronghold and scrolled down and chose the most
Now you're
random
giving them
card,
hints. Stop
and they
giving
still
them
got
hints.
it in half an hour since the podcast came out. So that I was like, all right, they're cheating. No way. Anyway, so
right,
Adam, I think you want to ask the next question.
Yeah, so we'll move on. I think we all want to move on from that horrible display of favorite text knowledge. So we're going to get into the nitty gritty now, okay? We're past the halfway point of the podcast, okay? Only the most dedicated listeners get the juicy content. So the next question I want to ask you guys are, what are the problems that come along with hosting webcam tournaments? So, like, specifically, what are some problems that you guys have experienced, and what are some of the main problems that exist when it comes to webcam magic?
Well, I'll start with the first problem we have, and then I'll let Foss take the second one. The first problem we had was finding pairing software for multiplayer was
nightmare.
An actual adventure, because oh my god, we tried SquireBot the first time around, and it, well,
sort of worked.
It was more of a peasant bot.
We implemented it for the first tournament, and then I immediately screwed the pooch.
Yep, you did.
So I had to have the whole tournament re-register because I fucked it up. But outside of that, there's so many commands and stuff that you have to rely on players to do, and trying to get 100+ people to all make sure they do all these weird commands, and it was like a nightmare. And thankfully we got like our own software for pairings, and it's been an actual
easy.
godsend. But that was like the biggest initial problem was how do we get everyone into some kind of software and pair them all and especially for multiplayer. It's like really hard to get anything decent for multiplayer. And the second one, again, I'll let Foss take it over, but was kind of what we touched on earlier with keeping all your cards on the table.
Yeah, so we had some problems with cheaters in some of our tournaments, and for the most part, I think we found them out. It's very niche stuff, people not keeping the cards on the table. That's why we have the rules set the way it is. We got to strictly follow that, because, again, we don't have a good way to regulate that, being a webcam tournament.
Yep. Outside of if your cards leave the camera, you might get a game loss, because there's really nothing else that we can do to police those kinds of things. And honestly, it's been pretty good. Pretty good. The first 3 tournaments were great. I mean, I don't think we had any issues with that one. The last one, we had one person who was already a problem like everywhere else, but we just were like, all right, well, you seem to be nice to us, so like we'll give you a shot. And then they obviously didn't appreciate that, so they're gone now. And then we had one other person, but you know, everyone's there's the games are streamed, and you know, there's people in the games that are recording themselves and all that. So you know, we have a lot of people watching, you know, all these games and stuff. So it's just like not worth it. Like we're not going to find it, you know?
Yeah. I think what's funny is like probably one of the biggest deterrents to cheaters is the community reaction, because once you get caught cheating in any instance, not even in a tournament, if you get caught cheating in a Discord game, you are like exiled from the community.
You're gone.
Yeah.
And you're like, you don't exist anymore. Like you are deleted from like every Discord server, every play server. Like Foss and I have been playing, you know, online long enough. We have a pretty good outreach to, you know, all the big Discord servers, and even the smaller ones. I have people who are like, hey, I have 10 people in my Discord server, and we found out one of them might be cheating. And I just have people reach out to me like that all the time. So you'll just get deleted from the world, and that's just a promise. Like, well, it just is.
A lot of and I think we all can attest to this. A lot of the cEDH community, especially now, is built on trust. Because we are playing over webcam, we are playing like with people that we call friends, but we've never met in person. We don't know what type of people they are. We don't know what they do outside of Magic, and frankly, most of us don't care. But what we're doing is we're trusting each other to say, hey, we want to play like this game at the highest level, and we're trusting each other that this is a game of chance, and we are playing a random game of skill, right? And to compete at that level, you have to trust each other a little bit. especially when you're playing over spell table and shit. And so as soon as you break that trust, you're fucking out of here. And like nobody.
Dude.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, for anyone who didn't keep track of like what happened with the last tournament and stuff, dude, within 24 hours, that guy was banned from existence. Like there are people on YouTube flaming him, and it was
bad. It was real bad.
Man, that is not worth it.
Yeah, and
it's rough.
It isn't. It really isn't. Like for like as much as you might think, right? Like, oh man, I'm gonna cheat my way into an opportunity to win a $250 card. What sucks is like, go ahead and try, and then you will never be allowed to play anywhere again. Like,
You'll never, yeah.
And
not even just in our tournaments or in a tournament, like in any play space online. Like you'll just be banned from everything, and that's not even just me saying it. Like bullshit coming out of my mouth. It's happened.
Yeah, it has.
Granted, we've only had like 2 of these instances, but man, after the last one, the community is just like, oh, we're going to be on this. Like, there is no one getting like under us on this one like ever again.
Yeah.
I would not be. Yeah. I wouldn't want to be the next person.
Yeah, you guys were very quick in acting, which I think was like very instrumental in deterring other cheaters or other possible cheaters, because you guys within, like you said, like 24 hours, all right, he's out of here now, or he or she's out of here, with like
not
get
even
out.
that, but like the videos were posted so everyone can see for themselves. Like, hey, if you don't believe that this stuff happens, like look at this video, and this is what you need to watch out for as a player, and then look, here's the evidence that this stuff took place, and then
and
showing evidence.
Go ahead.
No,
and a lot of it is for anyone who's talked to us at basically any length knows that we're like super transparent with everything. Like I don't care about hiding stuff from people. Like if we had a cheater, we sniffed him out, we got rid of him. If you guys want to go look at the VODs, I'm not going to take more time out of my day to like go edit the VODs or like, it's just not worth it. Like, if anything, it's educational. Like this is what you should watch for when you're playing a game. Yeah. And honestly, that's what a lot of it is. It wasn't that like this person was so good at cheating. It was that the other 3 people weren't really watching.
They were focusing on
that's most of it.
Which is what you should do.
And then when a couple people actually did pay attention, he got caught really fast.
To be honest, the people who were paying attention weren't even in the game. They're just watching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So speaking of spectators and cheating, where do you guys get your judges from? Are they like, do you guys pull them from like a pool of judges? Do you guys just have like a judge chat or like a judge Discord, or you guys just personally know them?
A judge garden outside.
You're just growing judges constantly.
Growing judges outside.
So,
go ahead, Foss.
Again, our head judge, Luder Scooter, she is awesome at everything she does. She's been the head judge for all the past tournaments. And basically, we ask other judges if they want to participate. If they don't, they can play as well all they want. They show up. Usually they do shifts now, I believe, right?
Yeah, give or take.
Give or take shifts. Some stay for the whole event.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they go out to pods. They talk to the players. They come back. Any questions, they ask Luder. She'll give them what's what. And basically, that's how we do it. It's great.
Yeah, I think initially it was Foss and I, talking about the tournaments and all that, and then us talking to Luder and saying like, smooth, what do you think? Who do you want to bring in? Whatever.
Yeah.
So obviously she was the first judge.
Where did you guys get in contact with her? Was it just through?
I actually streamed with her on Twitch like years ago, so I've known Luder for a long time. So that's like where I started. And then we got, some friends of hers, some people from other servers that we played with. And then once we had like our kind of small group of judges, like 3 or 4 that we use consistently, we kind of just leave it to them. There's judge discords and stuff where people will, go online, get their, what is it, like the rules advisor, like they'll do their rules advisor test, and then they'll join these judge discords to like, okay, I want to progress towards actually being a level 1. And it's a good opportunity for them to reach out to the judges that we use, and then they can come to our events and kind of shadow the other judges. So we have some that have shadowed and now are actually just judging events and stuff. So a lot of it is, I mean, obviously it's all volunteer, but you know, just getting people who are interested in progressing, you know, their own judging career, and you know,
it's a win.
They have their own community and all that. Yeah, it is.
Win-win.
Yeah.
No, and
We get more help and they get more experience. And I mean, a lot of that's what a lot of being a judge is just a lot of, you know, judging a lot of events.
Yeah. And Looter is absolutely amazing. She's a judge in our channel as well to help out with any rules questions and things like that. And she's just been super helpful.
Oh,
and
she's
super
awesome.
active.
Yeah.
It's just super fun. A super fun person to have around. And like, funny enough, the day we're recording this, it's her birthday. So happy birthday, Maria.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Unfortunately, you won't see this till like days after your birthday, but that's still funny. But yeah, I think it's cool that you guys like, just like have so many volunteers and people that are willing to help out with this kind of stuff, because like you need that to have like something as big as this, right? You need people willing to help and people willing to lend hands, and the people that you guys have are absolutely amazing. Every experience I've had with a judge in your Discord has been absolutely wonderful. I know that people will like constantly are asking questions before every tournament, like, are these proxies allowed? What is allowed? Can I do this? Can I play this deck? And even people that are memeing and like goofing around, like your judges are very professional and handle it really, really well. And
no, they are for sure. We've been really lucky with not only the judges that we have, but the player base and everything. It's been really good.
It's been a nice experience, honestly.
Yeah, very positive. I can imagine.
And that's coming from someone who's played in like, you know, hundreds of like big events and stuff, and those things can go downhill so quickly.
Fast.
You know.
Yeah. I know that we talked earlier about where like the prize support for this tournament is coming from, because obviously like we're helping provide it this time around. But when it comes to normal tournaments,
Not helping you are providing.
But when it comes to like the 3 tournaments prior to this one, where do you guys normally like cultivate prizes from?
You want to show them your pockets?
For the most part, it's been donations from me and Ka0s, like 90% of the other tournaments. And we've got
Especially for the first, like, the first tournament was like 95% Foss and like 5% Timmy from Budget Brews.
Oh,
Yep.
Timmy.
And then it's kind of like slowly scaled down from there. Like, you know, from our like we get, you know, help from our Patreon, and we'll just get messages from people that are like, hey, you know, you guys are doing this great thing, you know, and there's no entry, whatever. I want to send you something to add to the prize pool.
It's been great.
Yeah, so it's slowly been less and less of Foss's pockets and more from like other places, which has been cool.
Yeah, because I think
obviously you guys.
Well, I just think that it's like really interesting and something to touch on, because I don't think like a lot of people really understand that when they first like join Ka0s. Is like normally like everything is just provided by you two wanting to do something for the community as like a way to say like, hey, we just want to provide this fun experience for everybody to be a part of. And you mentioned Timmy like helping out with the first one. Timmy's like that same type of way. Like Timmy loves like, giving back to the community any opportunity that he can. And he's super cool and super fun. He's actually we love Timmy at our Discord because he was one of the first ever content creators to actually like reach out to us and be like, hey, you guys are doing something good, so keep it up. And we were like, oh, what? That's so amazing. Because like to us, Timmy was like such a large figure in the community.
No, he's been around for a long time. Him and I go way back, and anyone that wants to ask him about me, I'm sure you'll get all kinds of stories. But but no, he's, you know, not unlike all of us, where like we, you know, this is a community that we all love, and you know, we all would obviously take money out of our pockets to grow and help. And you know, it's just, you know, when you care about something, you know, like a community or whatever, you just try to make it better, do what you can. And that's pretty much all it is.
I think that's like a really good thing to kind of touch on, is how like especially for people that are new to the format, or people that are listening and are like, oh, there's a tournament, I'm interested in it, but I've never played cEDH. The competitive EDH community is very, very tight and very open and welcoming to new people, because they just want to see the format grow. Like more than anything, I think this community really does a good job of saying like, hey, we take all people from all likes and all backgrounds, and as long as you want to play competitively, by all means come and join us, right?
Yeah, that's it. And that's where the whole proxy friendly thing comes in. Like basically no matter where you go to play online, you know, mostly, no one cares if you have proxies. They tell you like, hey, like you don't have an LED in your deck, like you should go proxy that. It'll make your deck way better. Yeah. You know, like it's a very welcoming community for sure.
Yeah, and like things like this are a perfect way to kind of showcase that. Like a tournament that says like, hey, come out, try it. If you've never played Comp REL before, now is your chance. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and you'll learn from your mistakes. So by all means, go ahead and make them, right? And like just providing that space, I think is very, very important. And like rewarding people for doing that as well is really important. And I think that's
and especially for the new people. Sorry to cut you off, but especially for the new people, you know, we have this great staff of like super friendly judges. Like, and when I say like they don't mind coming to like you know, a pod or, you know, a room that we're playing in for the tournament to like answer a question or help you, they are literally volunteering because like this is what they want to do. Like it's the equivalent of someone coming in to play in the free tournament. They're doing the same thing just on the other side. So there's, you know, I don't want to like bully people into come playing, but like if you're at all interested in like cEDH or just competitive REL in general, this is literally the best place to come do it. Because if someone, and you can ask Ka0s, if someone is going to be either a jerk to the judges or just be like an ass to other players,
so we don't tolerate that.
That is not going to fly. So you will not have to worry about that.
Speaking of repercussions, how do you guys deal with cheaters in the tournament? Tournaments.
Oh, we touched on that.
We did. Would you guys like further elaborate?
Ka0s.
Go ahead.
For cheaters
Ka0s
during
has
the
a
tournament,
guillotine in the back.
Whoa, just
cheaters during the tournament, if we catch them, they will be removed from the tournament on the spot. No more games, counts as a game loss for them, all that stuff. Unfortunately, we can't do much afterwards the tournament, but we can deny their prizes, for example. It's about all we can do and not let them participate any further.
All I'll say is I've played cEDH for a long time. I know a lot of people on a lot of servers. I got friends in high places. And no, but honestly, like if you're caught cheating in like one of our tournaments, for example, I mean, you're gonna get deleted from the community.
You're
like
basically not gonna.
It's just how it is. No one's gonna want to play with a cheater. Like no one likes cheaters. Like you're just gonna be axed from everything. Like and that it sounds a little harsh, but I mean,
is what it is.
You know.
Yeah. A question that I think I'm curious about, I don't know if the viewers would be curious about it, but like say something were to happen where like you caught someone either cheating or not even just cheating, but like technically like committing any games rules violations enough to I was going to say extitude, but that's not a fucking word. enough to
extitude.
Yeah, enough to execute a game loss, right, from enough GRVs or whatever. What happens with the other three players in the game? Does the game just continue on as normal, but that player is no longer there, or do you like restart?
Obviously, a lot of it. Yeah, a lot of the if, ands, or buts we leave to the judges. Generally speaking, if we can continue a game,
we probably will.
We will urge the judges and the players to continue the game. If someone gets a game loss for repeatedly making the same infraction, we would continue the pod. But generally speaking, we have Looter, who is like, you don't get much more of an experienced judge than her. And along with the other judges we have, we usually just like, let them run the show with, on their side of the tournament. We have our own things to do. They have their things to do. If they want to double check or if we want to double check with them, we'll have a conversation. But generally, people are here to play. Let the players play. And all of the judges have said that in multiple instances, whether that's someone has an emergency and they need to leave or whatever. Players are here to play. Let them play. you know.
Cool.
For sure.
And then I think a big question that at least I've been wanting to ask you guys is, what do you have in store, or like what are you planning for the future of Ka0s Tournaments, and how do you hope to change or impact and I'm gonna say the bad word that everybody hates, the cEDH community, because I think that there is like a separation between tournament EDH and just regular cEDH, because it is a bit of a different vibe. But so yeah, what
All
do you
right,
guys...
so I want to let Foss answer this, but before that, and he's laughing because he knows exactly what I'm going to bring up. I think it was earlier in the week or last week. Poppy down here, you know, has our nice little document, what we're going to go over and all that. And I believe one of the questions involved, you know, something about cEDH. And and then Foss and I were talking later that day, and I was like, hey, Foss, how do you feel about cEDH? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, do you know what cEDH is? And he's like,
Nope.
And I'm like, I don't know what it stands for either. and then someone else, it might have been Vasher, someone was like, it's tournament EDH. And we were both like, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where like you have to be careful who you talk about it with, because like on Twitter, it's like you said a bad word. Whenever you bring up TDH, people start coming out of the woodworks like cEDH is cEDH. There's no such thing as TDH, and it's like, okay, but I play in tournaments and like it's definitely different, you know. So
it is definitely different.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know about Foss, but I definitely forgot most of that question. But I'll leave it to him to answer.
We got future plans. We have more tournaments in the works. We usually plan our tournaments after the fact one happens, because we've got to set dates and times around other things going on, events around the world, all that stuff. So we want to involve the community as much as we can. But
yeah, and I know we've been like somewhat talking about doing outside of the normal Ka0s tournaments, like roughly every 6 weeks, you know, give or take. Outside of that, and I want to stress, outside of that,
separate.
We're talking about doing some amount of like paid events. You know, like $10 entry, however many players, right?
Modern,
very beginning stages. But we're talking about like different formats, like people who are interested in Pauper or Modern or Legacy or whatever. And we'd probably still have cEDH because it would be on probably like around the same like Saturday, or late morning, early afternoon.
We found
different formats. Well. Yeah, we could change it up. We don't really want to interfere with like F&M, but that again, that's like a later thing. But just something to look out for. That we might have other formats, and you know, just for people who you know, I guess are a little bit more degenerate.
Wow.
You know, that want to put like $10 up front to try to, you know, to win more money kind of thing. But
trust me,
just something in the future. But usually, yeah, we usually try to keep it about 6 weeks for every Ka0s tournament, and we're not planning on stopping anytime soon. So
I was gonna say, trust me, Kian and the rest of the SadNaus guys know all about being degenerate.
We like gambling
when it comes to but we just like we spend so much money on tournament play like at our local area.
Yeah.
It's just like really
ridiculous.
Dude, I've been there.
Yep.
I feel so old. I'm like, back in my day, you know. But no, I was like the grinder that was going like all up and down the East Coast and flying out to Vegas for events, and oh man,
Cass was like,
it was a good time. It was
played for Auntie,
dude.
hey,
dude.
Hey, let's put it this way: the last Modern deck I played competitively was KCI. So
I just did a video about KCI not that long ago.
That's the last Modern deck I played.
I had been like traveling and playing, like, you know, being like the life of the grinder for like years before Modern even existed. So I just feel so old. So old.
Yeah, so
I remember going to the Wizards of the Coast store in the mall. I don't even think they have those anymore, but going to the Wizard store in the mall and buying an 8th edition starter set that came with a Moto CD in the starter set. Man, you can't even buy a computer with like, you know, a CD
Okay,
drive
boomer.
really anymore.
I've heard so many. I've heard so many mythical stories about these
Moto
Wizards of the
CD.
Coast stores. No, the Wizards of the
the
It
Coast.
was cool.
stores.
They had all the Magic stuff, and then right behind you, they had all the D&D books and stuff. Like I was never like a D&D guy, but you could buy like everything there. Those stores were great.
They just couldn't sell singles, right? Like that was like the thing. They couldn't sell singles because they were a
Pretty
watch.
sure.
Yeah. It was all sealed product.
Um,
Buying like Mirrodin. They didn't even have fat packs. They called them tournament packs.
oh really? What? I've never. Heard
If anyone even knows what those were, I think it was like instead of getting, you know, like if you do a sealed pool, they give you what, like 6 packs or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it would be a tournament pack. They would just hand you this like, you know, cardboard box, and it would have the equivalent of like 6 packs in it.
Oh, funny. That's so weird.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
God, I'm old.
So something that I want to like elaborate on that question was like when I asked like how do you guys want to change like the TDH community? I know that your tournament specifically, you guys are really flexible about the structure of your tournament. Like leading up to like this one Ka0s 4, you guys have really like sorry, you really mess with like round times, time and round and turns after time and stuff like that. And I'm curious as to like what you guys have found that best works for you, and like do you guys hope to have a larger impact on like webcam tournaments in the future, like considering that it's like Ka0s playing with Power does their league and like cEDH does a tournament, and other than that no one else is really doing online tournaments at all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're kind of hoping this like set some kind of precedent, like, you know, once we have like more tournaments under our belt and more players and trying new rules and stuff. But we're really open to trying like all kinds of different structures and stuff like that, because a lot of it is trying to have as many rounds as possible, so, you know, people have the opportunity to make top 16 or, you know, or whatever, but also respecting people's times around the world, because we have people who are in Europe, you know, 6 hours ahead of like East Coast time.
4 Australian boys last time.
Yeah, and we have like people literally all over the world, so it's really hard for us to balance playing enough rounds and respecting everyone's time. So for the last event, we tried, you know, our Saturday 10 a.m. seems to be like our sweet spot. You know, West Coast has to wake up kind of early, but people in Europe can still play, and it's not like 5 o'clock in the morning when we're done. So it's a good middle ground, but we tried 75-minute rounds instead of the normal 90. But what we also tried was once time was called in the round, having an active player finish their turn and then having no extra turns. Because at least in the past, we found
Extra turns.
those
sometimes
extra,
took
yeah,
40 minutes.
exactly.
As you
Those
guys know.
extra turns could take
Yeah.
45 minutes just for the turns. And we started kind of like giving people, you know, like 5 extra minutes to like get to their table, get everything together, shuffle. So it's probably closer to like 80-minute rounds, like once you factor that in. But, you know, like there's pros and cons to no matter what kind of structure you do for like time and, you know, round time and dates and times and all that. But, you know, I guess it's a work in progress. Not everyone's going to be happy all the time, but this was the best, at least so far, the best way that we found. You know, like basically it was, would you rather have 3 rounds, 90 minutes with turns, or 4 rounds, 75 minutes without turns? Generally, people would rather play an extra round than have an extra turn.
More games.
And I think
is usually better.
I think I actually misspoke, because I think we did 75 minutes both ways. We just added turns or subtracted turns. So it literally was, would you rather play an extra round or have 1 extra turn?
Yeah.
Generally, people would rather play an extra game, because if you get unlucky for a game, you could win another game. If you get unlucky for 1 turn, like that's not gonna really make a difference for you. And I think we looked through a lot of the games, and the amount of games where those extra turns would have actually made a difference was like 2 matches.
2 matches, maybe.
Like it was pretty minimal, honestly.
That's like the funniest part to me is because when I think about extra turns, I think about people tanking for 40 minutes on, man, is there a way I can win the game? Not, I just need a turn to win the game.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
it's always like, to me, like our LGS runs it where there isn't, like, the rounds are really short and there's no time, there's no extra turns after time. So like it makes for, like, you have to actually attempt to win the game because you don't get that leeway outside of it. And it some people would say it rewards like faster strategies and things like that, but I think what it does is it rewards people that are attempting to win the game. So
for sure. And another good example, and we were curious how this would work out, was the length of the tournament. Previously it was 3 rounds, 75 minutes plus turns. Last tournament we did 4 rounds, 75 minutes, no turns. We actually finished the tournament
earlier.
20 minutes earlier than we did the previous one, adding an entire round.
That's pretty
We finished 20 minutes earlier.
Yeah, that's pretty
So
impressive.
that just goes to show you how long turns can go. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the amount of time, like I said, the amount of times that it like legitimately means someone's getting a win compared to a draw was like super minimal. Like you're talking under 5% of matches, like less than that.
For sure.
And on top of that, it helped flesh out our standards a lot. Have an extra round, like for points wise, it helped.
Like a
everything
4-round Swiss instead of a 3.
Yeah,
round
it
Swiss.
helped.
Yeah,
helped it a lot.
that with that many players, like over 100 players, like you go to a GP or something, like how many rounds are those? Like a dozen or something, like 10.
Yeah,
like it's a
yeah.
lot. And there's a reason they do that, is so you don't do 3 rounds and then you have like half the tournament with the same points and then it comes down to tiebreakers. Like no one wants to miss out on a prize due to tiebreakers.
You're telling me I can no
about this,
longer
right?
almost make top 16?
You can't
with
cheese the
3
top
draws?
16 anymore.
The last event, we only had 2 people not make the top 16 due to points. And I'm pretty sure before that it was a lot more, because obviously the less rounds you have, the more people with the same points. And like I said, how feels bad would it be if we cut the top 16 and you get 20th, but you have the same amount of points as, the person who got 9th? Like, that's just so shitty.
Yeah.
So we're trying to avoid that as much as possible, basically.
No, I think that's really good.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any? I thought somebody else for sure had a closing thing to say. If nobody doesn't, I think. Well, I just wanted to say, I know this comes from me and Adam. Thank you, both of you guys, for joining us on our podcast today. We hope that our listeners are excited for Ka0s 4, because I know we sure are. And we've been putting a lot of work, both teams. Our work has been actually working and getting money to pay for the prizes. Well, Ka0s and Foss has been working behind the scenes to get this all sorted out per their usual. I hope this helped to shed some light on the struggles that exist with hosting webcam tournaments. And with that, I think as the prizes fall out, they're damaged now.
I don't think they're near mid anymore. Yeah.
They're in hard cases.
And with that, I think we'll hop over to the most demanded section of our podcast, Bergy's Corner. Adam?
Yeah. Okay. This one's fun. I love this part. So, for anybody that doesn't know yet, Bergy's Corner is a segment on our podcast where we all become the gods of storytelling. See that? I added like flavor text into our own segment. We now have a Discord channel dedicated to Bergy's Corner. So please come and join it to tell us all of your stories that you have regarding the topics as well. For our new listeners that don't know, this segment is where we share one of our favorite stories regarding the episode's topic. For this episode, we're diving into what our favorite or least favorite tournament experience was. Could be organizing our very first event or playing in our very first one, something either really fun, really exciting, or a story filled with horrible disappointment. Each of us are going to be given around like 5 minutes. We'll fudge the numbers for the sake of this episode to tell the story. And I think in the distance I can hear Hornfell's melody. So who would like to go first? Do you guys get that? Do you know what Hornfell is?
I do.
I have no idea.
It's the flip side.
It's the backside of
The
Bergy.
flip side of Bergy.
It's the horn.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
It's a valuable question because most people don't know what the backside of Bergy is.
Yes.
I've used that before. Don't judge me.
I've won a game
It's a
with
good
it.
one. It's a good
also
one.
won
Yeah,
a
it's a
game.
good one.
Wait, was I with you, Foss? Where it was the last card I needed off Bergy? I had no cards in hand. Was Breach?
Don't
No.
remember.
Okay.
It might be.
I think it was the last card I needed was Breach. Was the only one to win, and then I got Breach up.
I'm mad. I'm mad as hell because I won a game with the backside of Bergy on under Playing with Power's camera. I went to a convention. I was playing with the Playing with Power guys on camera, and I won with the backside of Bergy in like the most coolest way ever, by casting like a dramatic reversal to untap all my shit and then win the game. And they fucking never posted the video.
Nope.
I mean,
No, what
So,
a ripoff.
weirdest thing
So that
I've
was your
done.
time.
No, that was
All
my
right.
story.
That was a
All right.
quick
So I have
5 minutes.
5 minutes on the clock. Foss, you want to start off?
Sure,
All
why
right, your
not?
timer
It's actually an
starts
event
now.
that me and Cass did. Our first tournament actually was hilarious. I loved it. This guy was making a bunch of drama in the chat.
Oh no.
He was complaining about cheating, saying if you don't get caught, cheating's cool and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, Chaos next to me, he's bringing up a storm, getting really antsy, started yelling and crap. And then he gets super upset, and he's like, I'm going to ban this guy. I'm like,
In my defense, he was a problem.
It was
like,
a problem, yes.
elsewhere, other servers,
Hey,
and
hey,
I got
hey,
so many
hey,
messages
hey,
like, "Watch
it's not
for
your
this
time.
guy."
Shut up.
And basically, he kept getting antsy, and everyone's telling him off, all that BS. And then Cass started getting all antsy and kept going and super angry, aggravated. And he's like, I'm going to ban this guy. I'm like, okay, we're in the middle of putting the tournament in through SquireBot. Like, okay, just wait. Before you kick him, before you ban him. And he's like, oh, it's too late. I'm like, oh, well, now I got to redo the whole fucking tournament. Thanks, bud. So we had to delete that entire tournament. And then
After everyone
after
already signed up, the day
we had to
of.
delete it all, make an entirely new tournament. All these new commands I had to set up because SquireBot is awful. Because SquireBot has this thing that if someone leaves the Discord during the tournament event while they're already registered, the bot just fails. It dies and cannot work again. It's really bad.
Since I banned them after everyone signed up, the tournament crashed.
Yep. So we had to restart everything.
Yeah. That was the day that Chaos ruined the first tournament before it even started.
There's
hilarious.
actual chaos at the
It was
chaos.
legitimately chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't my shining moment.
It was funny, though. It was funny.
It was funny. It was funny.
Oh man.
All right. I guess I'll do mine real quick. I don't think mine's very long. So
Okay.
since we're just talking about tournaments in general, I'm going to sound old again, but back in my day, I don't know if they still do these, but they have like the Star City. They have, all the Star City events. And then like if you win one or have enough points. All right, hold on. I'm going to do like a humble brag real quick. Hold on, I got it.
Oh, no.
He's got to get out the.
Here it is.
He just wanted to flex the secret.
I
webcam.
won a
Yes.
Star City Legacy Open years ago. So for one of the things for winning was you go to the Invitational. So, and again, to get the Invitational, you have to like win a qualifying event or have enough points or whatever. So it was locked at like a couple hundred people. Like it wasn't a huge tournament, and Invitational, you have to be invited to go. The first half was standard. The second half, I believe, was legacy. And for the standard portion, I think I'm like trying to find my seat or something, and I look over, and this guy's opening a sealed pre-con, like at the table that he's sitting at for his game. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? Well, for anyone who's played in like those kind of tournaments, you have to have opaque sleeves so you can't see the back of your cards to avoid like cheating and stuff. So what this guy did was every single standard round, and there was four standard rounds before it like cut to top 64 or whatever. he would open the same precon and play it with no sleeves. He would just physically open a sealed product, shuffle it up without sleeves, and play the game. And to avoid, the judges or anyone accusing him of cheating, he would open another sealed precon every single round. So he had to show up with like six of the same precon to play every single standard round. And it was super weird. And also it being an invitational, like there was like a ton of prizes, and he's just opening a precon to play in this tournament. And like I said, he had to open a brand new one every single round. It was like the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Dude, even just listening to that, I'm like, this is the weirdest fucking shit I've ever heard.
It's pretty weird.
Now imagine seeing it in person, because you're like, oh, he's playing with no sleeves, and then you see the next round, he's just cracking open a new sealed precon, and I'm like, oh, that's how he's avoiding that.
Was it just like
something.
to show that like the cards weren't marked or anything? Like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, to avoid like any kind of, because even if you played a game with the cards, they could still get like nicks and whatever. So he played a new one every round to avoid that. It's so
sounds
odd.
like someone doing something
Super
like,
weird.
in spite of the tournament rules.
Probably.
I'm sure he like lost a bet or like something weird, but that was so odd. Just so odd. All right, who's next?
I'm gonna force Kian to go because your story totally made me forget what mine was.
Sorry, guys, I gotta put my trophy away.
Oh yeah, here, let me.
I guess.
So I won a Star City Games Open, and they gave me this sweet trophy.
All right, so I guess a tournament experience, I guess you would say, would be my first Command Fest, which was like Command Fest Chicago. It was pre-COVID. I think it was 2018, 2019. And me and a buddy went. We drove down there. We live in Milwaukee, so it's like less like an hour, if that.
Don't dox us, dude. Come on.
We tell them every time we're from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Anyway, so we get down there. This is both of ours first like actual in-person tournament. So we get down there. We're like, all right, cool. What do we do? So we get in a pod of casual. We're playing cEDH, right? So and we thought this was like a only cEDH tournament. So we get in there. We're like, all right, our decks aren't that like tier 1. We don't. We're not practiced enough with it, so we're like, all right, well, we're competitive casual. We get in a pod with like 2 other casual decks and completely like pub stomp them, which felt kind of bad because we were both like, all right, what, like, one dude was playing Ka0s and then the other one was on like Grim Grin Zombies. And when you see Grim Grin, it's about to be some casual match accompanying your boy. But I guess they complained to the judge, and the one of the judges came over and was like, well, you see, you guys have the completely wrong tag for your. Sorry, the online timer went off for 3 minutes. Anyway, so the judge came over and was like, well, you guys have the completely wrong tag for your Command Fest pass. Can you guys please go up front and get the competitive tag, because you like pub stomping players is not appropriate, and a lot of players do not like root like I don't even remember what he said. It was just like, go over there, get your competitive shit and come back. So, but the tournament was fun. I don't know. That's all I got. That's all I got. And then some dude was like, hey, you want to go outside and smoke? And I was like, what?
I was like so invested. I was like, okay, what happens next? And you're like, yep, and it was fun.
Nope, that was it. He was like, all right, just go over there, get your tags, and that was it. And then we played against Flash Hulk the whole fucking time, and it was terrible.
Oh,
and then
Flash Hulk's great. What
are
you
you
talking
talking?
about?
No. And then there was one dude playing Flash Hulk that was just like a complete idiot. Okay, like I'm not even trying to be toxic. He was an idiot. He resolved Flash and put in a fucking, I think it was like Razaketh or something. Notably, you can only activate his ability as a sorcery. That's all I got. I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes you got to do some crazy shit to discard a card, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
That's all I'm saying.
He had Hulk in hand, so I don't understand.
He was just trying to meme a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess.
So for my story, the first, I'll talk about the first time I ever played in like a tournament. And it was at an LGS tournament at an LGS that we play at, and it was the first time I started playing with some of the friends in our friend group that like we eventually turned into like the cEDH team. So when I was first getting back into Magic, because I used to play back in 2015 Commander only, and then I went on a huge hiatus, and recently got back into it, specifically competitive, like at the end of this year, or not the end of at like the start of this year. I think last December is when I started playing competitive EDH. So I'm like pretty new to the format.
Back to the future.
Yeah, basically. And when I started, I only had my original like EDH decks. So I had like Marrow-Gnar Relentless Rats with like Thrumming Stone combo and Thornbite Staff loops, or I had Slivers, but my Slivers deck wasn't very good. It was like Slivers was because my original playgroup hated Relentless Rats, so I'm like, well, I'll play something less toxic. Let me build Sliver Tribal, which like in casual, I guess was not the right vibe. So when I met this like friend group that played like really high level, and I'm talking like they were playing like Blue Farm, and what was AJ was on Gitrog, and like some of our other friends, they're on like really high level tier 1 cEDH decks, and I'm like, well, all I've got that like can resemble competitive is like Slivers, and the LGS that we play at doesn't allow proxies. So I remember I'm like trying to build up my Slivers deck, and I'm like, okay, what can I use to combo? How can I combo? Like looking this shit up, and the guy that's working at the store is like, hey, something came in today, and I'd like to show it to you in case you need it. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, what is this? Like, takes me to like this back room. I'm like all excited what it's gonna be, and he pulls out a Sliver Queen, and I'm like, yo, like. This is nuts. I'm like, I really need this. And like I said, our LGS isn't proxy friendly. So I'm like, fuck. Like, okay, how much money is this thing cost me? He's like, yeah, it's going to be $275. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is this shit? And my stupid ass, I'm impulsive. I bought the fucker. Because I'm like, I need this card. Because I'm like, I'm trying to power out Slivers. Like, what the fuck am I going to do? I need a Sliver Queen. It's like the best card to combo with. I had like Ashnod's Altar, Sliver Queen, Basalt Sliver. I have the ability to go infinite, but I've never done it before and like didn't know how. And I remember they invited me to come play on Mondays, and they're like, this is the cEDH night. So you got to come up on Mondays and you got to play. And like, bring your Slivers deck. We know you don't think it's the best, but like, you might have a good time. And before we all get there early and we all play like beforehand. And I remember we went, we got there early and we started to jam some games. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this one fucking seriously. And I won on turn 3 with like Sliver combo by like throwing down like a Bloom Tender, then Sliver Queen, then like tutored in my deck for the Ashnod's Altar and like went infinite like immediately on turn 3, and it felt so crazy. I'm like, yeah, this is the fucking shit. And like I would play specifically with the tutor Sliver. What's the tutor Sliver?
Lord.
I couldn't tell you.
Not
Hive
Sliver.
Lord? Overlord.
Is it Hive Lord? Sliver Overlord, that's the one.
Yeah.
Where it lets you like tutor for like 3 mana.
Yeah.
Because I could just like dump into play every Sliver that I owned and then like go to combat and like win. And it was like super sick. And I was like, yeah, turn 3 win. This is what competitive is. And then I played in the actual tournament and got fucking stomped because I was playing fucking Slivers. And it was like really disappointing. And then I built Jessica Ishai because I wanted like a real competitive
There you
deck.
go.
But like that was like my first experience. I just always remember that because that's the first reserve list card I ever bought in my life. It was like my first like input into cEDH. It was a deck that was like cool, but like I wasn't like super high on, but it was what I had and I used it to play competitively. And like, look at me now. I haven't looked back since. And now I own like 6 decks and I spend way too much money and I own too many reserve list cards.
I think probably a lot of us know, that cEDH, or that, not even cEDH, but like that deck that you started with to try to like actually start winning. I think mine was Kalia. I bought the pre-con and then added a bunch of random shit to it, and they're like, oh man, Lightning Greaves, and now you look and you're like, Lightning Greaves, who cares about that? Yeah.
Okay, I'm so
Mine was
on
Niv.
top of things. Oh, Niv Mizzet. Niv Mizzet's still a cracked deck.
Mine was a zombie.
Zombie.
Ooh, Izami.
But it was
good
good
one.
after I left it up too.
Look, I'm so on top of things that I have it right here. My first ever reserve list card is the Sliver
There you
Queen,
go.
and it was near mint too. So like, I guess I got a good price.
How
for
much
it.
was that?
I think they charged me $275, but the guy that sold me the card was a cool dude, so he
God.
dropped it to $250.
Oh,
But,
super cool.
Well, because I was like, I don't know if I could buy it. I've never bought a piece of cardboard for this much money. He's like, what if I do $250? I'm like, yeah, that's what I like to hear.
and then now you're like $250. Say less. I'll buy that shit. Good
Do you
deal.
do you take American Express?
Basically, I think the last card I got was a Gaia's Cradle, so like it shows how I feel about
Yeah.
Oh, man.
cards now. I bought a Cradle and a Survival in the same night.
Yep. Sounds
but
right.
but yeah, so that's my story. Like my first tournament experience, and like it was super impactful. Like now I make content, and all my friends are a part of my our podcast that we do, Kian, and it's like a great fucking time. I love it. So
That's where a lot of these things start. You know, even with the tournaments and your podcast and all that, it almost always starts with a group of friends.
yeah,
Yep.
and it's
You know?
awesome. So that was Bergy's Corner. Make sure to join the Discord and put in the Bergy's Corner chat your stories about your favorite tournament experience. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to chat. We'd love to hear what everybody else's stories are, and it really helps us to get a better sense of the community, our community specifically, and we hope that you get a better sense of who we are as individuals and players and get to know us a little bit better. So, hop into Discord and have a good time. So to move to our cleanup step, all right, the end of the podcast, Ka0s, Foss, I'm going to let you guys chill what you guys do one more time before we end the episode.
Oh, basically, come play. Real easy. Again, our website's going to be down in the description. Everything is on there. We have links to all the Discords, Sadnaws and the tournaments, play space, signups are on there. Literally everything's on there. Also, Foss,
What's up?
if you can show him that
do I
cool
have to?
mat that we have
Okay.
mats, we have play mats for sale now. I think you might have to get it. He just got
I
his
just
today.
got mine today.
And mine's supposed to be here either
I don't know
tomorrow
if you can
or
see it
Friday.
in the camera. It's very hard.
Like, say,
They're pretty sweet. Obviously, his has his name on it, but they
Yeah.
came out they're sweet, and they have the stitched edging, so they don't get all stringy and stuff.
Way to
Oh
call us
man,
out
I
for
can't
not
wait to
having
get one.
stitched play
yeah,
mats.
Hey, we
Wait,
didn't know.
yours aren't stitched.
We had the option. I'm like, who wants stitched play mats? And then as soon as we bought it, I regretted it. I was like, oh no, we need stitched play mats.
But no, they came out super awesome. So if you guys are interested, that's also on the website, our Patreon, as well as the Sadnaws guys, for helping us out,
Yep.
so we can keep doing events like this. And, obviously for that, well, I'm sure you'll do this yourself, but, for content and tournaments and prize support. And while our judges and staff don't require us to compensate them,
We would very much.
obviously we really like to. So that's another thing that the Patreon goes to. Also, you would be amazed how much shipping cost goes into sending out 40, 50 different envelopes for all the giveaways and prizes and this and that. It's not cheap.
Not at all.
But mainly just check out the website.
Yep.
Everything's on there at cEDH, but the link will be down in the description.
Yeah.
And again, we'll have more events coming up. We may have new formats we might be trying to dip our toes into, all that stuff. So check it out. We appreciate any other questions. We'd be happy to answer if you have questions for us. But yeah.
Yeah, and I will reiterate for you guys how important that Patreon is. I know I'm a patron for Ka0s Tournaments, and I've never regretted giving you guys a dime ever since. So, if you guys want to support Ka0s and want to support what they do and ensure that they can continue to do amazing tournaments like this, please go support them on Patreon because, it helps way more than you could ever imagine. And we love what they do, so we gladly support them, so you should too.
Yeah, as much as we hate saying, please send us money, there's way more overhead
lot
than
of
you'd think,
expense
especially
going
for
into
free tournaments. And most of it, honestly, goes to prizes to our judge staff, and to shipping costs. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and then for those of you that haven't already joined our Discord, what the hell are you waiting for? Get in there. We pride ourselves on being one of the more community-driven content groups, and we love the feedback that we get from everybody in our cEDH family. So you can talk to us about episodes, get deck building advice, talk to Ka0s and Foss about tournaments or just what they do, or just chat about your day. We are also local to the Milwaukee metro area, and we have channels specifically dedicated to local meetup games, tournament locations, LGS times, play dates, and just any local discussions regarding any of that kind of stuff. So if you haven't already, please join, because we would love to have you there. And finally, whether you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else that you can find podcasts, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, drop us a review, or share us with your friends. It really helps with growing our channel and gives us the ability to work with new people like Ka0s and Foss or other content channels, and just helps reach a new audience as well. And with that, we'll end the episode here. So you guys have a great week, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye.